Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to go over chemotherapy and kind of the experience that I had when I did chemo the first day. They tell you get there, your chemo treatment's going to be about 6 hours or something like that, which seems so long, and it is long, but they want to make sure the medicine that they are giving you, you are not having a reaction to. So they put the bags that your medicine's coming out of through the IV, they drip it slow. So I think the first time that you do chemotherapy, they drip it at like 90 minutes. So every bag is like 90 minutes. And then you have your pre-meds, which is like a steroid, it's Benadryl, it's like a Zofran, like an anti-nausea medicine. And I don't know what the fourth one was, but those are the main three that I always got. And one thing that no one ever told me was that when you take the Benadryl through the IV, you just like instantly feel yourself like, ooh. It's kind of just kind of like you're drunk feeling, and it makes you really tired, which that's 100% normal for everyone. That's why I think a lot of people do sleep during chemotherapy. But with me, I was so tired, but every time I tried to go to sleep, I would have like weird dreams. It was just really bizarre to me. My husband was there, and I had asked him, like, how many power bars are you going to eat, when he only was eating one. So I was just kind of tripping out, and I just definitely didn't feel like myself. And I was thinking to myself, the people that come to chemotherapy alone, there's no way you could drive home after that. It's like you're under the influence. And I never felt like I was okay. And the first time that I did chemotherapy, I felt that way, foggy headed, for days. And I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling of not being like, in control. You're too foggy headed. You can barely open your eyes, that type of thing. But it was days, and nobody told me that. Nobody told me that I was going to be like that. So it was kind of something that was surprising to me. I did feel super tired during the session. I ate the whole time during chemotherapy. I did think that I might get sick, like the medicine was going to make me sick while I was there. That did not happen. So I took saltine crackers. I took a bunch of snacks just in case, and I was eating the whole time. It was like making me hungry. You don't feel sick during it. You just feel like that mellow, and it kind of like, as soon as the Benadryl hits, it's like, ooh, and then you feel tired. So anyways, I wouldn't make any decisions, especially like if you're making, important decisions during that time at all, because it might not be a good time. So anyways, first time you do chemo, you're there all day. I think I started at 9 a.m. and I wasn't even done till like 5:30 p.m. It was a whole entire day of chemo. They give you the pre-meds, which take a while, and then every bag, the bigger bags like this, the chemo bags, the Herceptin, the Perjeta, all that takes 90 minutes. So you're there a long time. So anyways, after that is done, when you go home, they put the medicine through your port. So they prick you here, they give you all the medicine, and then they take it out. Sometimes when they took out my port, the IV for my port, it bled a little bit, but they kind of give you like a cotton ball. They give you a Band-Aid, and then you're all good. So anyways, you go home. I felt just like so hungry when I got home. I made sure I drank water. If you do not drink water prior to going to chemotherapy and right after chemotherapy and the days after, You probably will get constipated. I did not want that to happen. Everybody told me to drink water, so I did. I drank water. I never had a constipation problem, which was great. But you do not want to get dehydrated. You want this stuff to filter through your body quickly, and you want it also to be effective, but you do want it to get out of your system quickly because you just feel so much better once it's out. I always made sure I drank water. One time I didn't drink as much water because the water starts to taste like metal when you have chemotherapy. It doesn't taste good. I think you have maybe like 1 or 2 days. You can drink the water and it's fine. And then you go to the place where it tastes awful. You have to keep drinking it, but it just tastes awful. And there was one time, maybe my second treatment, I had to go back into the office and they had to give me fluids because I just wasn't feeling good. I was so nauseous. Even I would take, they give you 2 types of nausea pills that you can alternate every 4 hours, and I was doing that, but I was still so nauseous. I didn't get sick. I was just nauseous. I was in like that in between where you just can't get sick, but you just feel awful. So I had to go in for fluids, which when you feel bad, like you have a really bad flu, you don't want to be going to the store. You don't want to be going to a doctor's office to sit there for an hour and a half to get fluids. You don't want that. I didn't. Maybe people want to do it, but I did not want to do it at all. So I remember being miserable, feeling terrible, and then my oncologist had me come in for fluids because she was worried that I was going to get dehydrated. So that is number 1, stay hydrated. Number 2, make sure that you are eating fibrous foods. One thing that I did eat throughout my whole entire chemo treatment, since it was in the summertime, is watermelon. Watermelon was super good for digestive, and that was the only thing that really tasted good to me, especially during the summertime. My taste buds changed every day. I think it was my 3rd day after chemo. That's when my taste buds started to change. Nothing tasted good, but you have to get anything down. You know, people are like, oh, when you're doing chemotherapy, you should really watch what you're eating and all that. Honestly, when you are going through chemotherapy and you feel bad, eat what you can. So if that's, a quesadilla instead of, a hamburger, then that's okay. Eat what you can to get through the week, to get through that bad time, and then you can continue on a good, healthy journey after that. So about day 3 or 4 would hit, and that's when I would start to feel really nauseous. I did stay on top of my medicine. You have to take a steroid the day before chemo, the day of chemo, and the day after chemo. Then you can take your nausea pills the day of chemo after you get out of it. And then I alternated every 4 hours. I would alternate 2 nausea medicines, and I would still be nauseous. But the thing is, eating little snacks throughout the day is the way to go. Don't eat a big meal. It just is going to make you feel more sick. It feels like an awful flu, and you get very tired. So like I said, around day 3 or 4, I would start feeling bad. I would start getting really nauseous. Then it's like you wake up and you feel okay. And then you walk down the stairs to, get something to drink or to eat in the morning, and you're just exhausted. I remember walking down the stairs and just being so exhausted. Like it was so much work for me to go to from my room all the way downstairs, just waking up. And then after something like that, then you would do another thing, and then you just feel so tired. I would always get out of bed. That is one thing I always did. always got out of bed. I never just laid in bed and slept. I would sleep on the couch. I would try and watch TV, and then I would like doze off maybe a few times. I would have energy, and then I wouldn't have energy. So that's very, very normal. But like I said, I always made an effort to get dressed, and I made an effort to get out of bed and not just sit there. But by about 8 o'clock at nighttime during chemo week, I would be ready to go to bed. I would just long for the nighttime to come so I could go take a bath. Every night I would take a bath just to kind of lay there and relax. And then I would go to bed shortly after that, and then you kind of try and sleep it off. The thing is I never took anything for sleeping. A lot of people do. I never did, but you don't sleep well. I felt like I never went into REM sleep. I would just kind of sleep, but I was always kind of like awake, and my brain would just think and think and think and think. And I just never got a good night's sleep for about 5 days after chemo. Like, it just wasn't good. Sometimes you have night sweats. Sometimes your brain's just going. So there's so many things that happen. And not everyone's the same, but this is my experience. I just felt like I never went into that deep REM sleep. I never got a good night's rest. But after that 5th day or whatever, then you start sleeping well, and then you start feeling better, and then the nausea goes away, and your taste buds still are bad. They will be bad the next week as well. You kind of just taste metal. Nothing tastes good, but it's like you have to eat or you'll get nauseous. So lots of information there. If anyone has any questions, they can drop them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them, but that's kind of my experience with chemotherapy. It kind of happened every time. I can also make a video on my second chemo treatment, which was my worst, I think. But going forward with the TCHP chemotherapy that I did have, I got a really bad rash the first time, and they give you a shot the day after chemotherapy, and it's for your white blood cells to make sure that they can come out of your bone marrow and you can keep producing them, because your white blood cells get low when you do chemotherapy. So anyways, I got a really bad rash all across my chest, on my back, on my face, and my neck. And it was really, really bad. I was neutropenic the first time. That means that my white blood cell count was so low that if I got something, that my body wouldn't be able to fight it off. So sure enough, I did get a fever. I think it was a week after chemotherapy. I got a low-grade fever, and I watched it, but my oncologist really wanted me to go to the doctor, especially because I had this nasty rash on my chest and my face. So I ended up going to the emergency room. My oncologist called ahead of time. They said I was coming in. I was neutropenic, so I had basically no immune system. So I had to wear a really thick N95 mask. I could barely breathe in it. But when I got to the hospital, they checked me in and they took me back to a room as soon as possible. I wasn't waiting in the waiting room with anyone. They got me in there because they knew I didn't have an immune system and my body wouldn't be able to fight anything off if I did get it. The reason why I got a low-grade fever was because I had a mild UTI. That alone sent me into the hospital and made me have a fever because my body couldn't fight it off because I was too neutropenic. This is very common, going to the emergency room when you're having chemotherapy, when your immune system's down. Some people it never happens to. Me, it only happened the first time. But it was a roller coaster ride the first time. So I was good. I was fine at the hospital and everything. I felt fine, but my oncologist didn't want me to chance it, and I did get a fever because my body was trying to fight it off. Another thing that happened, I came back 7 days after chemotherapy. It's like you're a new person. You start to feel the same. I feel like I started to feel normal again. I still was out of breath when I walked up the stairs, but nothing major. Nothing like you feel the week of chemotherapy. I continued to work out throughout chemotherapy. That was something that I really wanted to do, to push myself to keep going, because chemotherapy will kill your muscles, and I just wanted to like keep it going. I didn't want to stop working out. I didn't want to get neuropathy, and I read that the benefits of you working out and you using your muscles is you don't get neuropathy during chemo. So that's my take on it. As soon as like 8 or 9 days hit, I went back to workout class. I do a rebounding class. That's great for your lymphatic system. Good cardio. You do strength training as well. So I continued to do that throughout chemotherapy as well, as soon as I felt able to do it. Do not go out and run outside, do the Peloton, or go to a workout class if you do not feel good. Your body, listen to your body. Like, if you don't feel good, don't do it. I felt healthy enough. I felt more myself, so I went. And it was hard. It was hard, and some days it was so hard, but I pushed myself, because your muscles just become jello, and it's really hard, but you just keep going and keep going. And then you have to do everything again in 3 weeks after you start feeling good. So the chemotherapy I have is every 3 weeks. So I felt good after the 7th day. Then it's like you feel good for so long. Your taste buds come back after 2 weeks. I had bad taste buds the first week. Awful. I could not even taste anything the second week. And then by the 3rd week, the week before chemo treatment, I would be like completely normal again. So anyways, that kind of was my experience with chemotherapy. I don't know. Everybody's different. Everybody has different experiences, and depending on what chemotherapy you're doing, obviously it could hit you harder or less, or the same. So anyways, I hope this is helpful. If anyone has any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to answer any questions. Yeah, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.